that autumn wind. Shout out to the Raiders, man, we about to win.
Time to get into this. Do you believe in Derek Carr? Raiders vs. Chiefs reaction show. The question I'm going to ask everyone right now is, do you believe in Derek Carr? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Do you believe in Derek Carr? That is what I'm centering or putting this show all around, okay? And I want you guys to do this. Use hashtag Raiders to have your Derek Carr questions featured on air. So the Raiders just lost to the Chiefs 40-9. Derek had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and when I look at the entire year, I don't know if it's been necessarily what we've all wanted. So sure, he's got a good completion percentage, but it's been a little bit of dink and dunk. But from what I've seen the last 2 weeks, I don't know if Derek's the answer. Now, I don't know if we should look to go in the draft. I don't know if we should look in free agency. But I can already see in the comments section there are a lot of people calling for a new quarterback. So this is what Derek did versus the Chiefs. 222 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. So the entire thing that I'm going to do on today's show on the Raiders Report is going to be around Derek Carr. And I want you guys to use hashtag Raiders to get your Derek Carr questions on the show. Now, I've been a Derek supporter. I wore a Derek Carr jersey today on our watch party show. I expected big things from Carr. I protected Carr the entire week, saying that he's not just that he can play in cold games. This was bad. It was a really bad performance. He looked shook. He looked scared. And there was one thing that I'll always give Carr credit for. When things are going well, he looks great. He's a leader. But when things go bad, I mean, come on, guys. You have to be able to look at your quarterback in the eyes and have confidence in him. There is not a single person watching the show that could honestly tell me that you looked at Derek this week and had confidence in him. Because he didn't have confidence in himself. So do you believe in Derek Carr? Type Y for yes, type N for no. And then my next question. Is Derek Carr a franchise quarterback? Y for yes, N for no. Is Derek a franchise quarterback? So if there is one thing that I said, and I'll take a drink to it right now. I said the entire year 2019 is a prove-it year for Derek Carr. I'll take a drink to it. Now, you can't cut him this year because it's $27 million. Plus, it makes no sense to cut him at this point of the year. Trading for Derek, what's his trade value? Can't do it also because the trade deadline's passed. So people are asking me, Mitch, is it time to bench Derek Carr? Man, I don't know. I mean, you're really going to bench Derek for Mike Glennon? I mean, shout out to Mike Glennon, but no, you can't bench Derek Carr. Derek Carr still gives you the best option to win. You got to let Derek play the season out. And it might suck to say that. It might suck to see it. But benching Derek Carr for this team doesn't make sense. I'm sorry. It just doesn't make sense. You got to see what he's got. Because then in 2020, you go back and then you go to the drawing board. Okay? You look to see if Derek is your franchise quarterback. Who's a quarterback that you would rather the Raiders go out and get in free agency? I've seen Cam Newton's. I've seen Colin Kaepernick. I don't want Colin Kaepernick. Derek Carr is still a much better quarterback than Colin Kaepernick, and it's not even close. Okay? It's really not even close. Other quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston. I'd rather have Derek Carr. I'll put out a video, but it's not time to bench Derek. And Derek, I still think, is the quarterback you got to finish out the season with. Now, I see a lot of people commenting, and I appreciate y'all. We got 369 people watching us live on YouTube. And if you are a diehard Raider fan, okay, I want you to type 4. I want you to type 4 for Believe It Baby. So here on the show, we do 4 chalky heads, Believe It Baby. And if you're a diehard Raider fan, I want you to type 4, okay? And if you subscribe, that also shows me that you're a diehard Raider fan, because there's not a channel on YouTube, there's not a channel in the entire world right now that puts out more videos. There's not a channel that does more giveaways than us. There's not a channel that I think shows that, man, I appreciate you guys more than anything right now. I'm very thankful for you. So please subscribe, youtube.com/Raiders Report. Send it to your friends. And if you want to put it on social media, just make sure you tag me so that way I can share it as well. So now let's look at the last 4 seasons of Derek, okay? I want you to soak these in a little bit. So in 2018, he did have a career high, 4,049 yards, 19 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. But the years that when we talk about DC, when I think of elite DC, I think of 2016. I think of 2015. We are looking at MVP caliber Derek. What I've got in the last 2 years is not what I'm paying for. I am a Derek truther. I still think Derek's a good quarterback. But I think Derek's an average quarterback. And saying that he's an average quarterback to me is like, there's probably 15, 16 quarterbacks right now in the NFL that I'd rather have over Derek Carr. Is that worth paying somebody $25 million? You guys can be the judge of that. But if this is what your quarterback's done the last 4 years, and now we're sitting here at 6-6, you know, how many quarterbacks have a chance to have a losing record like Derek and have had this many opportunities as Derek? Not many in the league, okay? Now, we are still 6-6, but if Derek can close out the season, and if the Raiders can play well over these last 4 games, I think it changes a lot of things. Now, the Titans have been playing very good football. Since they've benched Marcus Mariota, Ryan Tannehill, I'll tell you what, that man might be earning himself a contract this offseason. But if you guys want to go to Raiders versus Titans, I got some tickets to that game. Week 15 versus the Jags, I'll be there. It'll be the last game in Oakland. It'll be bittersweet, but if you guys want to hang out, grab a beer with me, I'll be at Week 15 in Oakland against the Jags. Just hit me up. My IG's down there below. Let me know that you're going. But then Week 16, 17, the Raiders still can finish 10-6. And to be honest, even if we finish 9-7, that would be an incredible year. We should still be very proud of this football team. That's all I want people to say. I don't want people to go in full panic mode, okay? Don't go in full panic mode. That's all I ask. Now, if you still think that the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, or if you're like, Mitch, I know the Raiders have been struggling. I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs, but I still want to bet on them every single week. Luckily for you, I'm going to hook you up with some free money. So BetDSI, they've hooked up Chat Sports and the Raiders Report with the best deal on the internet. And I promise you, you will not find a better deal out there. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use that promo code Raiders120 for 120% deposit bonus. Now, I appreciate everyone who supports us and our sponsors at BetDSI. I also appreciate the super chat. So Mr. Emerald 123. We got to win the next 4 games and have the Titans, Steelers, and Chiefs lose their next 4. Also, Carr isn't going anywhere. I believe in Carr. I don't think Carr is going anywhere this year, and I still think that the Raiders ultimately stick it out with Derek next year in 2020. I think you got to be able to see what Derek can do. I don't like creating excuses for Derek. However, find me a quarterback that's dealt with more offensive coordinator turnover, head coach turnover, wide receiver, tight end turnover than Derek Carr. There's not a single quarterback in the NFL that has. Let's go to Joseph Gonzalez. What up, brother? Can you make a realistic trade that would include Derek Carr? I don't know, or I know I need a profile picture. I'll take a drink because I couldn't read. So get one. Can you make a realistic trade? Honestly, I don't think I can right now. Because what is Derek's trade value? Because Raider fans, we're going to want a lot more. However, other NFL teams, you're not really going to have them go out and I think and trade for a quarterback like Derek. Plus the quarterback needy teams right now. I don't really think trading Derek Carr makes a lot of sense. So let's go to Andrew. He's got some sort of error. This isn't Carr's fault. He needs receivers. O-line needs help. Excuse me. Carr needs a supporting cast to put the offense together. I agree. I don't think you can always put the blame on one player. And I hate doing that. And to be honest, I might be mad at myself for doing a Derek Carr specific Q&A, but it's what people are going to talk about, and guess what? That's what I'm going to talk about this entire week. Now, our offensive line has actually played very well this entire season, so I really wouldn't blame them. But our receivers need to step up, and our tight ends need to step up. And yes, our entire offense in general, realistically, minus the offensive line and Josh Jacobs, needs to step up. So, Andrew, at least we agree on that. Let's go to Evil One Silver, or Evil Silver, I'm not sure. I will give Carr until week 15. If we don't win these next 2 games, I'm going to pray we draft a quarterback. All right, well then let me know which quarterback you would want the Raiders to even draft. Now, I think we can beat the Titans. We can easily beat the Titans. That game's at home. We can beat the Jags. We can go 8-6. And we can beat the Chargers and the Broncos, 2 teams that we've already beaten. Now, even if we drop the game to the Titans, we should beat the Jags and we should beat the Chargers and Broncos. That still puts us at 9-7. You got to let Carr finish out the year because there's one thing I can guarantee you. Mike Glennon's not the answer. There's not a quarterback in free agency that I want, and don't give me Colin Kaepernick BS because I don't want to hear it. I'll tell you this right now. You let Derek finish out the year because you have to. You have to. Let's go to Reggie. What up, Reggie? When Carr contract comes up, we shouldn't sign him. Time to move on. So Derek is set to make basically $25 million. Until the next 2 years. So if we cut him next year, it's $5 million. If we cut him the year after that, it'd be $2.5 million. And then I think the year after that, it's when it gets down to 0. But I mean, I've said it all year. 2019 is a prove-it year for Derek, and yes, if you want the Raiders to move on from him, I don't really see them going into free agency. I see Mike Mayock trusting their draft process, but even then, Herbert, Tua, Joe Burrow, they're all first-round quarterbacks. We're not getting Burrow, and are we really going to trust Tua who's got a hip injury? There's one thing Raider fans know, it's hip injuries. Let's go to Hector. It's Carr's fault when he's trying to put the football in a small window. He is no good in cold weather. Draft Burrow from LSU. So the only way we're drafting Burrow from LSU is if you trade up. Now, think about this. So Harrison made this point when we were live. I mean, the Redskins essentially gave up 3 first-round picks for RG3 to move to 2. If you want to get Joe Burrow, you got to give up both your first-round picks, a player, and at least a third-round pick. I'm not doing that for Joe Burrow. I think Joe Burrow is a fun quarterback. I think he's a fun player to watch. I'm not giving up probably at least 3 picks plus a player. Not doing it. Let's go to a super chat from Silverwind. You super chat me. Cheers to you. I'll take a drink. Would you agree that it seems like we're not adapting our gameplay when the situation calls for it? Also, drinks on you at the Jags game, right? Hey, Silverwind, if you find me, I guarantee you I can hook you up with a drink. Because if there's one thing I've learned about tailgates, Raider Nation is kind. And there's so many times where I leave those games stumbling because people are throwing drinks at my face. So if anybody wants to walk around with me, if anybody wants to go around tailgates with me, you let me know. I'm going to be going around different tailgates, but I'll be at Raiders versus Jags. And yes, if you subscribe, that first round's on me, my man. Let's go to Matt. What up, Matt? Get a picture. DC is an average quarterback. I agree. He will never win a Super Bowl unless they have a steel curtain type of defense. The defense definitely needs to improve. I mean, let's be real. The defense is the real issue here with the Oakland Raiders. Josh Jacobs is great. But if there's one thing that I've learned, it's like I'm going to trust the Raiders in their process, because to turn a 4-12 team who was as bad as what the Raiders were last year to a 6-6 football team that has sustained the amount of injuries that they have, I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? I mean, plus, think about all the games that we've had to travel for. Plus, think about all the road games that we've had. I mean, it's been a tough schedule, been a tough traveling team. The whole AB saga, it made the team stronger. Like, this is going to be a good turnaround. It just might take a few years. So everyone, please, please be patient. Now, if you guys like the shirt that I'm wearing, I get all my shirts, all my swagger, my little koozie here, my pop socket on the back of my phone. That's all from Raider Nation store. So if you guys want this unbelievable deal, listen up. So that shirt, plus this patch, plus this shirt, okay, I can get you all 3 of those items for $36. How do you do that? You go to RaiderNationStore.net. You click on those 3 pictures, and use that promo code Mitch20, okay? Mitch20 saves you 20% off. Also, they're doing still Black Friday deals. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff for the holidays. So if you like anything that I wear, if you want 2 shirts and that 60s patch for $36, go to RaiderNationStore.net right now and get hooked up. Let's go to RaiderTK_98. Gruden's offense looks to be figured out. Carr could not find any open receivers. And on the second pick, the DBs knew that where it was going. I mean, Derek just stared down his receivers. So the interceptions were 100% on Derek's. Were 100% on Derek. The wide receivers for the Raiders, on the other hand, they couldn't get open. So there's that part of it. Also, losing Hunter Renfrow definitely hurt. I think the Raiders' offense did look a lot slower. The biggest concern for me on some play calls was like the 4th and 1 play, the end around with Trevor Davis. I mean, I don't understand why you do an end around, with Trevor Davis when Alec Ingold, when Josh Jacobs have been so good on 4th and 1 this entire season. Why do an end around with Trevor Davis, who already has a fumble in the game and who's running scared? Yes, I mean, Derek struggled, but like, I still don't want to put the whole blame on Derek or on Gruden. Let's go to Raider Cat. Time to send the car to the junkyard. Hashtag Raiders. I was going to say, do you believe in Derek Carr? Y for yes, type N for no. You know what else? It's time to send my car to the junkyard. So shout out to BMW of Santa Maria for hooking us up here. I need a new car. I'm getting a new car this month, though. That one's for Chucky heads. But I don't know if I'm sending car to the junkyard. Let's go to Big Willie 562. Big Willie, why do they call you that? I'm curious. We need a mobile 6-foot cannon from hell. So you're going to get mad at me for what I'm about to say. I almost feel like a tall quarterback who's kind of mobile, who's got a big arm, kind of sounds like Jamarcus Russell. That's all I'm saying. Like, do I think that this like new style of quarterback is like where you got to find a mobile quarterback? We're starting to trend in that direction, which I think is an interesting thing for the Raiders and for the NFL in general. But the only quarterback that I think the Raiders have a realistic chance of getting that I think is actually a better option than Derek Carr is Tua, and that's even if Tua's healthy, which I can't honestly look here in the eyes and tell you that Tua's healthy. Let's go to King Savage. Kaepernick is way better than DC. Yeah, I could not disagree with you anymore. I don't think Colin Kaepernick is a NFL caliber starting quarterback. He's 32. He hasn't played in the NFL since 2016. And like, hey man, I appreciate that you watched the show. And I'm going to try to say this in the nicest way possible. If you think Colin Kaepernick is better than DC, man, I feel bad for you because you're way, way off. Let's go to Joshua Scott. Let's go. He kicked us out of the playoffs. I'm guessing you mean Derek. I mean, the Raiders can still make the playoffs. Let's be real here. If the Raiders beat the Titans next week, and if the Steelers start losing some football games, the Raiders are right there, right? I mean, the Steelers are 7-5. The Titans are 7-5. The Raiders are 6-6. The Raiders beat the Titans. Watch this. They're going to own the tiebreaker. And if the Steelers start dropping some games, I mean, the Raiders can still make the playoffs. The only way we can get in is realistically now is the 6th seed. The Buffalo Bills, they continue to play well. But the AFC West, that one's out of reach, I would say, at this point. But the Raiders can still make the playoffs. They can still make the playoffs. Let's go to our next comment here from Robert. We are for sure drafting a quarterback in 2020. All right, Robert. So you're saying 4 Chucky heads on the Oakland Raiders drafting a quarterback in 2020. Well, I'll be live on Wednesday, okay? I'll be live on Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, so 3 p.m. Pacific time. I'll be breaking down some Raiders quarterback options and whether or not I think the Raiders will draft a quarterback in 2020. Let's go to Felix Devora, Teddy. So Teddy Bridgewater, you sound like Tom Downey. This is Tom's burner account. I can't quite tell. Get a picture. Teddy Bridgewater, they're going to end up, he's probably going to be making around 20 to 22. Probably about 20 to 22 million. Maybe you could go out and look at Teddy Bridgewater. We'll see what the Saints do there. But, I mean, I still think they keep Drew Brees. But there's a part of me, and Harrison just said it in the background. I think Teddy Bridgewater is a product of a system in a sense where the Saints are just really good. I don't want it to be Nick Foles 2.0. Let's go to Jermaine. Oh, boy. I'll stick with Jermaine. While there is more excuses for Carf, there are quarterbacks doing more with less. He has a top O-line, running backs, and a trio of tight ends. No excuses. You're going to hate what I'm about to say, but there's actually not many quarterbacks, I think, that have less than what Derek has. Like, I mean, Darren Waller's a great tight end, but who was Darren Waller before this year? I mean, Derek also turned Jared Cook into an unbelievable tight end, and Jared Cook is a nobody right now with the Saints. A trio of tight ends. I mean, Derek Carrier, I mean, come on, let's be real. Foster Moreau's a good rookie, but still he's only a rookie. So to say that Derek has a lot of options, oh, man, I strongly disagree. I mean, our wide receivers right now are below average. Our tight ends are across the NFL. I mean, Darren's great. Our running back's great in Josh, but, I mean, to say that Carr has a lot of options, I think you're wrong, man. Let's go to Junior. Alex Smith, thoughts? Oh, God. So Alex Smith is making like $30 million this year. I think he's like, you don't want Alex Smith. I don't know if he's ever going to play again. His leg, I don't think it's ever going to be back. But you really want Alex Smith? Like, really? Is that your answer? Oh, I'm going to go with no. Let's go to 517, Way of Life. Carr has been defending more than any losing quarterback in history, Raider Nation. We need an elite quarterback. Every NFL team needs an elite quarterback, right? I mean, every team does. Now, we have been defending Derek Carr, but I think you have to defend Derek because, again, think about all the different head coaches. Think about all the different offensive coordinators, all the turnover at wide receiver. I've said it 100 times on the show. I get it. But there's a reason why Derek deserves a little bit of slack. It's because of all the turnover at the position. Now, if he doesn't figure it out quick, man, I don't come to work every day and I put in a half-ass effort. Today from Derek was a half-assed effort. Like, let's be real. Let's be real. Let's go to Jason Rollins. Being for how many years have we been patient? All Raider Nation has been patient. That's all we have been 4 years. you got to be patient. We're still in rebuild mode, guys. Like, we're still in rebuild mode. I get it. It was exciting. We were 6-4. We should have been 7-4 after the Jets game. Be patient. The Raiders signed John Gruden for 10 years, $100 million. They're going to try to rebuild, and if we can improve as much as we did this year, every single year, it's going to be a good future. Okay, so Jason, so watch this. Be patient. Now, I understand I missed some questions here on today's show, and if I did, I'm sorry. I love venting with you guys, and I want to be as real with you as possible, so how about this? You take a screenshot of this, and if you share it on your Instagram, make sure you tag me at Mitchell Renz 365. You can ask me anything Raiders. You can ask me anything personal. Literally anything you want, because as long as you subscribe, man, I'll let you guys know anything about me. So I just want you guys to know that I love y'all. Always bleed silver and black. It was a tough game, but if you don't subscribe to the Raiders Report, make sure you do. YouTube.com/Raiders Report. Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this. I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.